And we're in. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the meeting. Get my notes document going. See Karen, I see Zavi, Mike, Aaron. I see Donetta's note taker. I assume Donetta comes attached to the note taker. And Jean and other Aaron. Hey, all. How's everybody
Hello,
doing? Should we
Dave.
do a round of hellos and icebreakers real quick? I think we should all go around and say, hey, introduce ourselves again, just in case. I think a couple new people joining this time. Zavi's new for sure. Um, and in 10 words or fewer, tell us what you do to beat the heat. I'm gonna, Aaron hated the prompt. I'm Miguel. I'm the chairman of ANC1B, as most of you know. We don't have a community engagement committee chair right now, so I'm sort of filling in the interim until we identify a new candidate, which could be one of you. Um, and to beat the heat, you know what? I'm gonna just ruin my own prompt. I don't mind the heat. I go to the park. I soak up the heat. But I did discover this brand of like ice cream popsicle. I don't know what those are called. It's like ice cream on a stick, right? That's made with Greek yogurt, and so they're only like 100 calories each popsicle. And I have to say that was my most precious find so far this summer. That's my heat beating technique. I'm gonna popcorn it over. Who's ready? Aaron, you want to go? Take it away.
Yeah, I'm really trying to embrace the heat, but I feel it defeats me. So I think I spend most of my time trying to move as slowly as possible. Just trying to exist.
I love that. No friction,
Just a lot of
just
slow
like a Jello
movement.
man. That's good. Nice to see you. Popcorn it away. Aaron, if you want to pick someone to go next.
I'm so sorry. I'm looking at my list, Karen.
Okay, excellent. As everybody know, I am the heat, so that's all I can say.
We'll accept that answer because it's too clever. Love it.
And is Zavi? Am I saying your name
Uh-huh.
right, Zavi? Zavi Wet?
You are. Yes. Hi, everyone. I'm Zavi Webspan. I guess I try to beat the heat by doing things early in the morning and late in the evening, and then spending the rest of the time indoors in air conditioning. Oh, and I will popcorn over to Michael.
Hello, everyone. I don't know this. I'm going to give a very boring answer. This summer is flying by. I don't even. Uh, I will have to say, enjoying activities in the morning so that I'm not out there, late in the afternoon. So trying to stay a little bit more hydrated and not killing myself during the midday. So I will pass it on. I apologize if I'm not pronouncing it correctly. Donetta.
I think that the note takers are automatic. They're pre-programmed for your meeting, so I don't think she's actually here
Oh,
unless you see
gotcha,
her in the audience.
gotcha. Um, I am only showing Aaron went. That's the only 6 people I'm showing in my panelist.
Oh yeah, we have
Oh, there
hold
we
on.
go. Gene, I'm gonna throw it over to you because you're the first one that popped up on my screen.
Okay, can you hear me?
Sir Can.
Okay, so I have found that I cannot beat the heat, and so even though I don't want to give into it, I just suffer through it. But I do have a recommendation for the commissioner, and that is our friend Salah Zasperi is opening a brand new Greek ice cream store in Georgetown, I think. It is 3143 N Street Northwest. And even though it's not in our hood, I hope you will support him.
That's true. And I know there are a couple of opening events coming up soon. They're going to have a grand opening. In fact, I think it's timed for National Ice Cream Day,
Yes, yes, true.
which is July
20?
20th.
Yes.
Yeah. So mark your calendars, everyone. Head over to Georgetown. That's a good point. And I've seen him popping up here and there. He was at Spark. He's been at a couple places in our neighborhood, giving a sneak preview.
Well, on a community relations tip, we can hit all the ice cream places. You can do a little punch card for all the ice cream places in 1B.
Oh, we're going to be talking about the passport idea. We'll just have to put it a little bit farther down the menu. Leah sent me some ideas. We've been exchanging emails, but she's running a little bit late to the meeting. So we'll see what time she rolls in so we can talk about that. Do we have Aaron Pierce for our final popcorn?
Hi, everybody. I'm Erin, ANC adjacent attendee and observer who loves what you all are doing for community planning. But how I beat the heat is, yes, this weekend I went to the Rubel Museum and it was very cool with strong air conditioning. So I definitely recommend going to some of the public museums because they are quite chilly.
Yeah, too chilly, in fact, I think I often find. Aaron, you weren't with us last month. That's correct, right? So do you want to say a little bit about who you are, where you come from, where you live in the neighborhood?
Okay, yeah. I joined a meet and greet that you all had at Spark Social, and also went to the Shakespeare in the Park after meeting
Oh, you
Miguel
did make it.
about it. Yeah, it was
Cool.
great. And I live in Logan Circle, and yeah, was learned about the ANC event through Zavi.
Very cool. Nice to have you. Thanks for joining us again.
Sure.
I think that covers everyone. Oh, sorry, we have a new Miss Cobbs. I've just enabled you to speak if you want to come off mute.
Hi, good afternoon. I
Hey.
apologize. My name is Tam Cobbs, and I am the Community Services Director for the Collaborative Solutions for Communities organization. We are a nonprofit right in Ward 1, and I'm excited to join this group and hopefully connect with you guys. I oversee our community engagement program as well as a few other programs that are community based. My apologies, I'm driving, so you won't be able to see my face this time, but I'm excited to join and participate.
Thank you. And we had Donetta here last month, also
Yes,
from
yes.
CSC.
Yes, I am
Yeah.
actually Donnetta's supervisor.
Okay. Oh, wonderful. Well, she was
Yes,
wonderful. So happy to have
awesome.
you, either of you or both, or anytime you guys want to drop in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for being here. So I distributed the agenda, which is very ambitious, and I just want to say from the outset, we don't have to achieve all of it this month, or ever. We can decide what everybody's interested in doing, but I kind of have been keeping a running list of things that I think would be great for this committee to do, and just see who bites on what, and maybe we can pick a few things that we think we can um, undertake in the next couple of months and see how far those go. So I can actually pop the agenda in the chat just in case anyone wants to follow along and you don't have the email handy. One sec. And you can read it right here. Not the best formatting there, but at least you can follow along the bullet points. Quick update from me. The only real community engagement sort of adjacent thing that, well, I guess two things have happened since we met last. The commission did decide last week to renew the contract with our photographer who was a student at Czech last year when we first met him. Alexis has since graduated, but we've asked him for a second batch of photos in the summer. We realized that his winter photos were kind of not appropriate for all seasons for use in our promotional materials and website. So we contracted him again. I know this committee considered that a few months ago. So just wanted to update that we're re-upping that contract. We're very pleased with his work. And the second thing, of course, as Zavi mentioned, or as Aaron mentioned, actually, was the Shakespeare in the Park event, which was just fantastic. I can't brag about it enough. I don't want to spend a lot of time going over um, that since we covered it at the commission meeting and several of you were there. But smashing success after 2 reschedules. We finally pulled it off. Had a much larger crowd than we anticipated, which all the more amazing because of the 2 reschedules. I had a lot of fun putting up posters all over the neighborhood and taking them down, putting them up and taking them down, and then putting them up and taking them down, which actually takes a really long time to do. So that was tough. But much work done by all. Mike Hooling here, of course, was intimately involved in all the preparations and execution. Thank you so much for so many hours of work. Absolutely worth doing, I think, from any perspective. We did collect a lot of email addresses as well of community members who are interested in that kind of thing. So hopefully we can invite them to future things, or maybe we'll find some community engagement committee members from some of them who are going to start getting our newsletter now and that kind of stuff. So I think just as a community building exercise, it was really worth doing. The final price tag for that did come in around 7K, which I guess we'll have to, the commission will keep thinking about like, how to right size that budget for future programs. But, just for the purposes of this committee, I want to make clear that I think the commission is very willing to spend money. We have a big reserve in our bank account because we haven't done very many events or sponsorships in the past few years. So new ideas are welcome. Don't be afraid of have a price tag involved. I thought that maybe people would think twice about spending the $7,000 for this, and nobody batted an eye. It was a unanimous vote. Everyone's very happy with how it turned out. So I think we should take that as a green light for future planning. So be creative, bring ideas. In fact, I have an email I haven't read yet today from somebody who wants to talk about doing a follow-on, another event in the park in a sort of different direction. Somebody wanted to connect me to a dance troupe that would be interested maybe in doing some kind of dance showcase in the park. I mean, people just like coming out of everywhere with ideas, and I want to encourage that. So, Mike, do you want to add anything on the Shakespeare point? If since you were intimately involved, I'll defer to you first.
I thought the event went by very well. I thought it did a lot in terms of brought out the community. The one thing, and I don't know, Commissioner, if this is more for you, the park is technically in 1B and it's a huge part of 1B, but I think it's also adjacent to 1C and 1A. Like, I think a lot of people came over, like not just from 1B, but it was, in my opinion, a true Ward 1 um, event. Is there any way to reach out to those commissions, like Ward 1B, to make this more sustainable and more economical moving forward, and maybe adding more events down the road? Could you go to 1A and 1C and say if they would put in like 25% of the cost, so that 1B is supporting 50% and then 1A and 1C, however they do it, like, are splitting the other 50%, so that a lot of time and energy went into it. I feel like 1B is doing the work, and 1C and 1A also benefited a lot from it. So
That's true. It's a good point. Have not considered approaching them. It's a great point. We should do that. And I mean, it doesn't need to be an even split. I mean, there's just the fact of we have truly a huge reserve of cash, and the other commissions don't to the same degree. So, I think we would all be fine if they contributed maybe some financial and in other aspects too, right? I mean, I think, almost the manpower might be even more valuable a contribution than finances, and especially for a smaller dollar event. And we should, just in terms of the outreach, like, of course, I went all around in 1A and certainly in 1C putting up posters. It would be great to have their help in postering their neighborhoods. Of course, they'll know places that have bulletin boards and stuff. I didn't know that for Adams Morgan. So the point's super well taken. We should approach them and just see what they're willing and able to do for park events for sure. Karen, go ahead.
Yes, the last meeting I did bring up two suggestions that so that we can have more community engagement in the park. It was because Malcolm X Park is known for having their drummer circle, and I made that point, and it didn't appear on the agenda. Neither did the neighbor crawl, for us to basically go do a neighbor to neighbor crawl so that we can engage with the actual neighbors throughout the ANC. I think that that would be really beneficial for each one of the SMDs. So because July tends to be July and August and September tends to be the time when people have neighborhood festivals slash block parties. And I think that Adams Morgan, they have a porch fest, and I think that having a neighbor crawl, which basically encompasses, and I know I explained this, where you have either neighbors will fix like a certain dinner or do like a certain thing in which each one of the neighbors would participate in order to draw the neighbors to them. My friends and I, and this is in one of my girlfriend's neighborhood, what we did was we did like a everyone cooked a certain type of meal, and then they had drinks and people went from house to house, in order to enjoy each other's company briefly, and it was just enough for whomever wanted to participate, if it even was it was for the block. I think if we do something like that, that would really increase community engagement. The drummer circle, which has a very beautiful history in the area, I think it needs to be supported, as you mentioned, to have some resources to the drummer circle to encourage not only our schools who are really interested in participating in the drummer circles and families, to learn about the history of the drummer circle for Washington, D.C., and how effective it has been over the years. And then also reinstituting a really good, robust membership with the Friends of Malcolm X Park. I think that those ideas, which I brought forward in the last meeting, I think it should have appeared on the agenda. I don't know why it didn't. Um, I think we need to make sure that at least we can have some engagement on those ideas too. Thank you.
I agree. I sort of consider the SMD walk as part of the restaurant crawl item, but I think maybe those are two separate ideas in the end.
Yeah,
Where the
they
restaurant
are
crawl,
completely different
yeah.
ideas.
Okay, wonderful. Mike, I know when we talked about this sort of stuff last month, you were also emphasizing free, sort of low-hanging fruit kind of events or engagements that we could do. The only, what comes to mind after what Karen just said is making sure that we are aware of when there are going to be existing block parties or festivals or whatever kind of public events where we can have a table or at least a presence of some sort. Um, I feel like our visibility is always a bit low into those things, like until the week before and somebody mentions it. I'm like, oh my God, we can't organize a presence in time. So I don't know if do folks have any suggestions about ways of keeping in touch with what's coming up locally? I mean, obviously there are events calendars, like 7:30 has one, and even Facebook, I guess, has a lot of events, and it sort of tries to keep it pretty geographically bounded. I don't
Well,
know. Does anyone else have any?
next door has a really good events offering, and then also you have was it Prince of Petworth, you have the Washingtonian, you have the various community like little I, the other name of one of them escapes me, where they do something for Mount Pleasant and Shaw. It's a little ugh, it's not the city paper, but it's another
Oh, the
little,
Mid City.
yeah, the Mid City, yeah. That
Hmm.
one does something too. And then it's a lot of different places that offers the information that's out there. And then one of my girlfriends, her name is Talia, she does like this little thing but she does that hers on Instagram. So she says what's going on around the city. I just think that if there's, whatever creative things, and then you have the various WhatsApp groups, they have their community boards, event announcement boards. Um
Are there other neighborhood groups that have robust list serves? I know like Westminster's pretty active.
Oh
But I
yeah.
don't know that the U Street Neighborhood Association has a listserv or any kind of presence like that. Is anybody plugged into that?
I know they did have one, and but I don't get information that often. They used to. It used to be pretty vibrant, but it's died off for quite some a number of years. There used to be a U Street beat, but that died off, and uh it some of them come and go. I mean, but it's a lot of there's some listservs that I get a lot of information from, Lord knows, but it depends on who's manning it and what they're talking about. Some people really get into the politics and different other things, but then some people just use it but it's Westminster is definitely not the only one.
Sure. And of course,
There's
LaDroit
a
Park. I know LaDroit
there's
Park
a
has one
Ward
too.
1. There's a Ward 1, Leroy Park has one, DuPont Circle has one, Logan Circle has one. Um, it's a whole lot of them. And I think I may be more privy to it because of my position, but I know that there's a whole lot.
Zavi, go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering if there might be a way that we can set up some sort of like alert, using like a Google alert or some sort of AI that sort of combs events online. I don't know how we would necessarily do that, but I'm wondering if it may be possible um, to set up so that we can get more advance notice of things.
Um, Unless someone knows offhand, it'd be wonderful for you to take a peek into that. Um,
Yeah, or if anyone knows, like, or has a friend of a friend that may know how to do that, certainly willing to reach out.
Well, I mean, I have a lot of people in the tech field that will build an app for you to do it. It's just that, it depends on where you want to reach out to. Do you want
yeah,
to only hit 1B, or do you want to hit all of the from all the ones just in Ward 1, or for Ward 1 and Ward 2 and Ward 3? How far do you want to do your outreach?
Yeah,
yeah,
I guess it's a
mostly,
question.
1B with a little bit of a buffer around, um, especially for something that's just like visibility, like going and having flyers or setting up a table of some kind. The outreach consultant that we have on the commission, Raisa, couldn't make this meeting tonight, but I'll ask her to join in future. And she is subscribed to the events newsletters and trying to pay attention to that more and more, so that she can build into her plans some more outreach. So um, keep the suggestions coming. I'll pass them along mostly to her. We've also talked about doing another calendar on our website that's more community event focused, not just our internal commission meetings. So it'd be good to start feeding, and for our monthly newsletter too, it'd be good to start feeding some more events in there, just so people have cross visibility and we can become a resource too for people who want to get involved with things locally. Mike, anything you wanted to, I don't know, maybe examples or clarification of the sort of free and easy
Yeah,
community events that you had
I, I
suggested
mean,
last month?
we did a historic home tour in LaDroit, and we actually reached out to ANC1B to get included on the newsletter. I think just opening up that invitation so that local civic associations, neighborhood organizations, um, all the commissioners across the different SMDs in 1B and maybe even adjacent have the opportunity to like forward it on to whoever might be the right contact. So I think just empowering or having somewhere on your website like want to get your event in our newsletter, you like in 1B or something like that, like you'll have to like fine tune the language, but I think just inviting people to share the information with you is going to be useful, because I think you'll get more people than you will get more information than we know that's out there by people being proactive about it. So
Agree with that. I'll keep reiterating for the commissioners, especially for those that have, like, my SMD doesn't have a neighborhood listserv, so I don't really have my ear to anything like that. Although we are talking about starting one, so that could be useful, I hope. Let's pivot into the list of running projects, of which there are like 10, and see which of them we are feeling energetic about. So maybe we'll just talk through them quickly, and if people feel motivated and hopefully want to take on a little project, or a small group of us could sort of form around a couple of them, that'd be wonderful. And of course, always open to new suggestions too. Um, let's skip the committee recruitment thing for right now. And the restaurant crawl, because I'm waiting for Leah to join. I hope she can make it. Let's tackle the farmers market item for a sec. Zavi, I think this came up when you came to the open office hour. You brought it up, or maybe Aaron did. In terms of the loss of the farmers market that used to be outside the Reeves Center at 14th and U. And I wondered if would you be interested in trying to take that up as a little project to reach out to Fresh Farm and see so just sort of what the status was of that, who made the decision to pull that down. I know obviously it was related to the redevelopment of that building, but since that's not happening anytime soon, um, would they be willing to come back and do that event, or was it not? I think we should ask, was it not profitable for them for some reason? It was a smaller presence, obviously. But if that's something we want to look into and advocate for them to come back, or, you know, do a different farmers market elsewhere in our community, we don't have a very nearby one. That could be interesting if you're compelled.
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. If we have any sort of historical information about how that farmers market came to be in the first place, and I think it would be good to know sort of why it's no longer there. But also, is there like any group within our city government that handles the relationship with Fresh Farm at like more of a corporate level than like an individual level? I'm not sure. Are you aware of anyone that might do that for the city or on behalf of the city?
I personally am not. I'm doing a quick Google. Does anyone here have a tip on this? Who manages that fresh farm relationship?
I get their annual reports from time to time. I'm
Okay.
checking my email to see if they say anything in it. I'll give you guys a snapshot of it in a couple of seconds. After you as you proceed. Thank you.
Oh, okay. An excellent tip, actually. I found their 2024 annual report, which I'll pop in the chat if anyone wants to breeze through it now. Does this seem like something that maybe we'd want to pursue in terms of trying to attract a fresh farm location somewhere nearby? I guess the only one I go to generally is DuPont. There is the small presence in Columbia Heights that's maybe 2 days a week, but also a tiny one. What's the sense that is it worth investing some time to see if they would do something else closer? Personally, for me, if they did the compost pop-up
Mhm.
collection bins, that would be amazing. Although we do have the one right outside the Reeves Center now, the permanent smart bin. Um, but do we think it's a felt need in the community to have a closer farmers market? What's our sense on that? Go ahead, Jean.
Um, a woman named Robin Schuster started the original 14th and U Farmers Market. And she lived and probably still does on, and I can't think of the name of it. It's not Westminster. It's the block between, I think, T and U, and it's just like one block long.
Oh,
That
by
Caroline?
Jenny's Ice Cream, Wallach Place.
Yes, Wallach, very
Oh,
good.
Uh-huh.
She lived on Wallach Place. She also started the farmers market over in Bloomingdale. So if anybody has a connection to Robin Schuster, she would be a good place to start.
I think she's on my email list. I'll look. Her name. I know who she is, but I'm just trying to remember what else she's associated with, Jean.
Um,
Um,
I don't
and
know, but
I know quite a few of.
Schuster.
Yeah, the name is extremely familiar. There's quite a few of the vendors that I know the I know the ones who used to do the books and the black art, and then there was a few of the farmers who were the black farmers that participated occasionally. So I do know some of them. but I'll reach out. But I remember I used to get her emails all the time. So let me look through and see if I can capture her information and put that in the chat too. I just put Fresh Farms email address and their information in the chat. Did you receive that, guys? Do you see it?
Yes. Yep, I
Okay.
see it.
So that's their contact information. So let me look up Robin's information now.
Go ahead, Jean.
Well, and also, as a place maybe to do a new farmers market might be the Harrison Rec Center. I don't think it's on the agenda, and maybe it should. I heard that nobody's running it now. The U Street Neighborhood Association previously had been running it. I'm sorry, I'm going into new business, but
All our business is new business.
but
Um,
it translates because, you know, where are you going to have your farmers market? And if the ANC got more involved at Harrison Rec Center, I don't know.
Well, Harrison is having well they're closed. They're currently closed right now until further notice. I'm not sure exactly why. I know that there's a Friends of Harrison that's associated with the U Street the U Street Friends of I mean whatever, I'm not sure what the U Street group that is, the name right off the top of my head, the U Street Neighborhood Association. They they were working with them and they were having issues with getting into the facilities. There was supposed to be an artist in residence, I mean an artist that was working specifically inside of Harrison, and I'm not sure how that is working out with DPR, but they still have the splash park, but they do have that nice green area that would be great for farmers market. I can try to work out. I can speak to DPR if you want, or I mean, but shoot, you guys got the whole commission. You all can do that, right?
that's fine.
Yeah,
I don't,
that's
I
your
don't,
job, right?
That's true. So I can reach out to them for status check on just what's going on there. If there are these access issues and stuff, I'm surprised it hasn't come up in an ANC meeting yet.
It's not
So
really access. I think there may be some type of facility issue in regards to the restrooms or something is something technical that's going on, but you would have to reach out to DPR directly. But they have closed the facility. I think they even listed on their website too. So under the hair.
I don't see a note on the DPR website. Just still has the, oh, I'm sorry. Yes, hours of operation closed until further notice.
Yeah, but it looks like they just had an event there on Saturday at the baseball field. The U Street Neighborhood Association. At least they advertised it. I don't know if they actually did
Well,
it.
yeah, they were supposed to do something on Juneteenth. However, they're not entering into the actual facility because Harrison, they have that little annex, and then
Mm-hmm.
they also have the field and the splash park. But they wanted
Because there's
to.
a fence in between them, right? Between the baseball diamond and the splash park.
That's correct, and they wanted to do like I think a movie event and everything, but I really want people to be able to have some use of any type of facilities, even if they have porta potties and stuff like that. But I think a farmer's market would be ideal for that baseball field, you know, too.
Okay, so I have my homework for DPR. At the same time, maybe somebody can reach out to Robin if we can find
I'm doing
contact
that right.
info.
Give me a second.
Okay, might
Uh,
also be on the ANC's
well,
newsletter list too.
trust me, I this stuff that I have is kind of deep, and I was just trying to do a nice little deep dive.
Okay, go ahead, Mike.
Yeah, so the one thing what Jude mentioned was that this group also did the Bloomingdale one. Um, I really like the Bloomingdale one because it's a little bit off to the side. It feels like they can close off a residential street, and it allows like
Mm,
the vendors to set up. Where I think the 14th Street, and I don't know what the economics were on that, but the 14th Street seemed a little bit too open,
yep.
and a little bit too like in the middle of like a busy intersection. I'm not familiar with Harrison and the baseball field there, but the other area that has kind of a big area that would be like almost a plaza is the U Street Metro that's right by the African American
The amphi. Oh yeah.
Civil War Museum. Like that's got a nice open plaza. I don't know what facilities are there in terms of bathrooms, to be honest, but um, I like how the Bloomingdale is like a little bit segmented off from a busy intersection, and it feels like more people take advantage of it because it's not out in the open. But again, I don't know what other opportunities are out there in 1B, but I
Hmm.
think they got lucky with having that little segment of triangle there in Bloomingdale.
I agree. And yeah, I don't know how people felt about 14th and U location. It is just kind of busy with people walking through, and it didn't really have that sense of what's nice about Mount Pleasant or DuPont is like you really feel like you're going into a space that's for the farmers market, right? I think is what you're saying about Bloomingdale. I haven't been to that one, um, which is really nice. I did find Robin's email on our ANC newsletter, so um, I can reach out, or Zavi, perhaps. Should you and I certainly reach out as the 1B's farmers market project leads?
Yeah, sure. I can draft an email, loop you in.
Cool. Thank you so much. And I'll send you her information. Jean, go ahead.
Just to go back to the Harrison Rec Center,
Hmm.
my recollection is that the Friends of Harrison definitely were a part of the U Street Neighborhood Association. And I don't know for sure, but I was told a few years ago that they had quite a bit of money to activate it, but it hasn't been activated that way for a long time. We used to do movies, monthly movies there. It was very popular, and I know the club helped sponsor it, and some other people and set up tables, probably bins. Anyway, it was really very community focused, which is why I'm bringing it up. So
What a
um,
dream.
I'm glad to get this on everyone's radar.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, following from the Meridian Hill Malcolm X event, I mean, not everything has to be at that park, although I would like that. But we can we can spread around the commission area, which would be only fair, even though my park is the best. Um, okay, so Zavi working on that email to Robin, and
It's
you and I can
not a
follow up on that.
competition. It's not a competition, Miguel. Play nice.
Fine. In this society, everything feels like a competition. No, but it'd be wonderful to have that space open again. And like I said, I can't remember in 2 years of being on this commission somebody raising the fact that Harrison hasn't been activated in that way in a while, and it seems to be a bit of a glaring oversight. So absolutely, let's dig into it. Uh, Next item, if I can, unless there's anything else on the farmers market. Um, let's go to the U Street Banners project. This is sort of just a heads up to everyone here. This project, I don't really know where it lives actually, but the Economic Development Committee has been slightly involved, especially Commissioner Fay, the chair, in an idea to put up some banners on the lampposts on and around U Street in the U Street corridor that have some sort of imagery that gives a sense of that this is a neighborhood, right? That refers to U Street as a historically important cultural space in DC. Of course, you guys know if you go to Adams Morgan or downtown, and many other neighborhoods, especially ones that have business improvement districts, they have banners on the lampposts that say like, you are in Adams Morgan, often like holiday themed and that kind of stuff. There are some banners at the eastern end of U Street that say Shaw, but they're kind of falling off the lampposts and don't really consider that area to be Shaw. So we've been working to see how does it work to put up banners along U Street. The project is moving forward actually really nicely. There's a small group sort of contemplating how to pay for it. This would be a shared project of 1B as well as 1E, which is more the Howard campus and adjacent ANC. We have made contact with a design team. Our commission did last week approve an initial budget for the design team to do some mock-ups of what those banners could look like, working with historical consultant, Brianna Thomas. She's the author of the book Black Broadway, which is new, looking at the history of when U Street was, you know, um, more arts and entertainment focused in the sort of Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald time period. So we want to draw on that rich history and find some imagery that, you know, highlights that area and its historical importance and you know, keeps referring to it or keeps alive, I should say, it's sort of art and entertainment focus. That, like I said, is coming together. It would be nice maybe if somebody on this committee could sort of stay plugged into those conversations, maybe attend the periodic meetings of that little group, just to have a community engagement angle. We've talked about doing a sort of maybe like an unveiling event when we have the mock-ups of the designs, maybe this fall, and invite a bunch of community people to come and see, you know, this is what's going on. These banners are going to be going up. Do you like the design? You know, just sort of do um, an event for people to come and learn more about the history. Maybe it'd be nice to have Miss Thomas, who wrote the book, you know, do a sort of really quick kind of like historical lecture or, you know, a book signing or something like that, that just gives people a sense of the history that is not really well placarded along U Street, right? We don't really have historical markers aside from the walking trail. So we're trying to draw people into, you know, yes, the sense of community identity, but also the importance of the history and really the like what, you know, why is U Street here? What makes it what it is? So if that does anything for anybody, it'd be kind of cool to designate a liaison from this committee and think about what are the community engagement aspects, what are the event planning aspects that we could do as a commission to help launch these banners, and of course, again, just that sense of identity as a neighborhood. Karen, go ahead.
Well, I was raising my hand to be the participant, to be involved with it because it's something that is extremely close to my heart that I am always happy to be involved with. And like you said, the walking tour, I used to be a guide with the walking tour, and we actually had markers. We have markers, and there was a request that was placed in the ANC a couple of terms back where we were trying to get some around the Thurgood Marshall building and some additional markers throughout the U Street area but they're blue and but I understand the little flag banners. I see the point of them because it sort of, you know, it's throughout the city in various areas. But the weathering of those banners is of high concern for me because they have to be changed out often because otherwise they fade, you know. I have not seen anything that's been long lasting, but some people do them seasonal, you know. So they have seasonal banners you know, that goes along with the holiday themes, etc. You know, and so the question is when you're mapping it out also, where specifically are you placing the banners? What and so that it can every area within 1B can be recognized for what, you know, what it stands for, from Lejoy Park to the U Street area to the 16th Street area. They all have historical aspects, you know, what throughout the city. And I think if we are doing historical markers, that we really should pay homage to all of those areas. Thank you.
Absolutely noted. Mike, go ahead. You're on you're on mute if you're speaking.
Sorry, I just had to take a work phone call. Um, so with the Brianna Thomas, if you've ever heard her speak, she is incredibly knowledgeable and one of the best guest speakers that I've heard. And Yep, and she sorry, the work keeps calling me. I may have to bump off here in a second. I think she was thinking about doing a walking tour, commissioner, and Karen, it might be worth getting with her to do like some sort of inaugural like event where she's doing actually a walking tour when the banners are released. The other thing that we came across a long time ago, and I don't know if the committee putting this together has put any has come across this as well, but they are there used to be a jazz fest on U Street, and now it's down at the Anthem, down at the wharf, and I'm just wondering uh if there's an opportunity to do that as well. And I do apologize, I have to take this call. So I will catch everyone later, and I apologize, but I need to take a urgent work call.
Oh,
Everyone have
good.
a good
Thank you.
one.
Thank you. Thanks. So the Jazz Fest. Uh-oh. It's a large undertaking, I'm sure. Jean, my spidey sense tells me you would have something to say about that.
You caught me off guard. I got nothing.
Never heard you say that before. Um, let's put that one on the back burner. Goodness,
There's
attracting the
other
Jazz Fest back to U Street would be a coup, quite a coup.
there's other
Um,
festival too. What's the other festival on U Street? There is another festival,
There
but
was the funk parade
yeah, the
some
fun
years ago.
mhm.
parade. Yeah, thank
Yep,
you. Which, we want to own absolutely. And as well as trying to get the Jazz Fest back, but I mean, I would assume that would have involved the mayor's office.
sure. And who can remember the last time there was the funk parade? mm, Didn't happen last year.
I
Yeah,
believe it was either 22 or 23.
they did something on U Street last year because of that pizza thing. So I think they did something similar when was it not last year when they had the pizza with the question mark pizza? Was it question mark pizza? Is that the name of the pizza place? There was a big thing.
And pizza.
The thing
Said
about,
it, Zabby?
yeah, when they were sort of doing the kind of protest outside.
Yeah, it was, but and then they had a huge event for because of that and I just think that a jazz, a go-go, a music, just a music fest altogether with the DC by go-go being the DC music, the music of DC, then you have jazz to bring in the Black Broadway slash all the jazz artists. I mean, we used to have a lot of great jazz clubs on U Street. Um,
Yeah.
and but we have to tap into what people are interested in too. If I mean tastes have changed. So we don't really know what people might be might be the draw, but I think that we have the Art All Night, which is one of the creative festivals that goes on the in the U Street area. I think that it needs to branch out a little bit more into near the Reeve Center, and even Harrison, all the way up to Harrison, because it was so limited where it was located the last time. I think if we brought that in, because we supported that as an ANC last year, Auto Night, there was monies that
Hmm.
was placed into that. I the in a creative events there's different creative events like that I've seen people do where they invite creatives to like bring their all the different creatives to create different artwork, and then people would bid on the artwork while they're working on the artwork on site, and I've seen that happen, and they'll come up with various different mediums, and they create little teeny, like 10 by 10-inch by 10-inch minute projects that people are able to bid on, and watch them and work on those projects. I've seen that as
Hmm.
a thing. Um,
Can I
and
go back to
it's all
the?
kinds of events that you can do. Go ahead. I'm
y-
sorry.
Yeah, no, no, no. I wanted to just go back to the funk parade and see if I'm looking at their Instagram and it hasn't been very active, so I'm not quite sure what's going on with them. Um, but one of the last,
202 events may have you. DC has their 202 events. If you check in with them, because they have all kinds of festivals. If you looked them up, 202 events, and they'll be able to tell you exactly what type of music slash festivals. And I think since the Go-Go Museum has moved over into Southeast, that they may be geared more there.
Hmm.
I like how they've been doing a Latino and Go-Go blend, which has really been really fantastic. You know,
202 creates, I think is what you're thinking of.
202, 202 creates or 202 events. It's
Right,
either
right,
one.
right.
It's one of those. But they've been doing like a Caribbean and go-go mix. It when I tell you guys it's excellent to hear the session, it's really, really nice.
Is that at Sycamore and Oak or something like that?
No, they actually had that at the Go-Go Museum on
Oh, okay,
Martin Luther King Avenue.
cool. Um, on the funk parade, I was going to mention that one of the last posts they made on Instagram, which was December 2023. So I don't know what's going on. They did announce that they had hired a director of community engagement. So perhaps if somebody's interested in this, we could have a volunteer to reach out to try to find this guy. His name is there in his picture, no contact information, but oh, just kidding. His LinkedIn profile is linked in this post. So I don't know, would somebody be interested in just sending him an email or a LinkedIn message and just say, hey, we see that you were community engagement guy for DC Funk Parade, just to get a sense of what's going on with them. And um, maybe they can be a partner. Maybe there'd be people interested even in the U Street Banners thing. If we did a launch event, they'd want to send somebody just to establish a relationship. That could be kind of cool. Zine, go ahead.
Well, as I recall, a gentleman named Chris Nome was involved with the Funk Parade. Who's this guy you're talking about? His name there?
J.E. Green.
Not familiar. Anyway, and Chris now works, I believe, in the mayor's humanities and arts office. And so that might be one reason why nothing's happening with it, because, now he works for the government. I don't know, but I can reach out to him. I don't want to reach out to this other person, but I can reach out to Chris and ask him what's going on.
The
Go
only one
for it.
I knew that was Ron Moten. He was the only person I knew that was
Mm.
involved, Gene. So
Yeah, Chris comes from the music part of it, so
I
I'd
see
like to
him.
see what's going on with him.
Okay, I see Chris is listed on it's the Commission on the Arts and Humanities. He's their events coordinator.
Yeah, he's been there a few years, so I don't know. It just seems sort of coincidental that the Funk Parade kind of, went away at the same time he took this other position. He's a mover and shaker in trying to help musicians. He goes to the NEVA conference, which is the National Independent Venue Association, and he's very focused on things from the musicians, and that they get paid a fair wage, that they, healthcare, just like all these things that, musicians, it's just assumed, oh, well, you're a musician. So anyway, I will reach out to him, and so that's my homework. That's it. That's all I'm gonna do.
One takeaway per person is amazing. Absolutely. We don't ask any more than that. Okay, that's the U Street Banners project. Karen, I noted that you're interested in being liaison. Wonderful. Let me catch you up on that some point when I have a little more. Now that we've approved that grant, the designers are going to start working, so we'll give them, I think they wanted a month, 6 weeks maybe to turn around some ideas. So we'll keep in touch as that proceeds. I did want to touch on the restaurant crawl passport idea. Leah hasn't joined yet, so we can just talk about it briefly and see if people think this is a good thing to work to move forward with. If you weren't at the meeting last time, very briefly, this was the idea of um, designing a little passport that people would take and get stamped at a bunch of different locations in 1B. We had thought restaurants. We had it just because the restaurant industry could use a boost, especially on and around U Street. We had thought maybe we would only feature or mostly feature restaurants that had opened in the past, I don't know, something, the past year, the past 2 years. We could try to identify that list and see how many venues that would be. Um, Leah was interested in it because, and Zavi, remind me, I think this came up and Aaron, when you guys were at the open office hour. I think it was one of you that suggested
Yep,
it
I
originally.
did.
Okay. Love it. Absolutely loved it. And Leah, who's on this committee, apparently, as a hobby, makes the kind of stamps that you would have to make for each restaurant. She has like I don't know the terminology for this, can like cut the die that would make the stamp. So she was, she thought it could be a fun project. She has a lot of the materials already. She did send me um, a draft budget for it, which I could show you guys right now, actually. Hold on. Does it seem generally, though, just as a concept, something that, I mean, it wouldn't cost us very much money, of course, especially since Leah has some of the tools already. We don't have to purchase those. Um, she could create the stamps. We pay for her, whatever supplies she needed, of course, and the printing of the booklets, which could be pretty easy. Does it seem like a thing that the ANC that we should spend some time doing? Like I've said, the budgetary aspect is probably not a problem. But just
Can
as an
you tell me,
idea,
did you spec out exactly how many passports that we're gonna need? Obviously the stamping, is it gonna be like a kit that each person gets, or each establishment will have the hold on to the stamps and the passports, and they give them to people if they come in? What's the process, and you know, how many are we gonna need
right. So
to
I guess we would
take care of?
decide, do we want Leah to create one stamp for each restaurant, like a personalized one, which would be more expensive. Probably we don't need it. We could have her do one design that's for we'd have to come up with would it be like U Street Restaurant Crawl, or we'll have to give it a name, right? And have a little design. And then say these 15 restaurants, we would make stamps for them and they would keep the stamp and like a little ink pad at each restaurant. And then we just have to design and print up the booklets that people would carry around and get them stamped. Then I guess we have to decide, are we going to offer some kind of prize for people who get all 15 stamps or whatever it is, or maybe that's too much and it's just for the fun of it. But a prize, I think, is powerful incentive. So we should think about that. That's not included in this budget. Um, and then how many
Well,
we print, of course, is up to us. And of course, we can do more runs if it actually becomes popular and we need to do more. But here she's priced out these saddle stick booklets for 100 at Vistaprint. Basically comes out to $2 each. Um,
I have an
and then
idea.
yeah.
It doesn't necessarily have to be a rubber stamp. It could be actual little stamps, like when you like little sticker stamps that each you can get some of them customized for each one of the restaurants, and they can just place the little stickers in everybody's passport. It'll be really nice, you know. So that will probably be and that way they don't need to go through the ink pads and stuff like that. They can just
That's
actually have a sheet of stickers that is customized for each one of their restaurants, and they place that sticker inside the passport.
that's true. Let's explore it as an alternative. I think it's super cool actually that we have a committee member though who knows how to make these stamps. So I kind of like that idea. And I'm noticing it here in her draft budget, you can get a pack of 20 of the ink pads for $12. And apparently it's only this $20 expense that she would need. Um, I don't know if can I oh, can you guys see the Amazon listing I'm looking at?
Yep.
Okay, so this is the block that she would use to carve the stamp itself. That's super cool. Yeah, Aaron, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. So I moved here from Rhode Island a few years ago, and one of the things that they had done was a Rhode Island brewery passport, and it's just like and I can show it to you because I carry it around in my wallet all the time, even though I don't live there anymore. But it's just like a little fold up thing. and it folds out, and it's and Rhode Island obviously is very small, so you can hit a lot of breweries. But part of the fun is having all the different stamps from all the different breweries. So I would be a little adverse to just having one stamp for each of the restaurants. But the prize is like a pint glass, and then that's one prize, and then the other prize is a hat. And like I don't know, I'm not, like I said, I've been holding on to it for about 5 years now, and I still haven't hit all of them. But the fun is going to all the different places, and it's more about I think the discovery of it than the actual prize. But the prizes are so super
Show it
basic.
again, Aaron.
Sorry.
Can you show? Can you hold it
Oh
up
yeah,
again?
sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I
But
don't
yeah,
need
I
to
mean,
see how many places you went to. I just
that's okay.
so
I'm
funny.
like, I'm really proud of it. No worries. But it's on like, it's both sides. So it is pretty, and then it just like folds up. So you can fit it into your wallet. But like I said, I mean, the prize is a glass or like a hat. And they don't specify what kind of glass, they don't specify what kind of hat. So I don't know.
I
Anyway,
like that. I
it was
like that
cute.
actually. I
Yeah.
like that because what it does is it personalizes each one of the establishments that's on U Street, so you can advertise everybody, and it's already pre-printed, so it's basically folded. Am I correct? And
Yeah. Yeah,
it's
it's just
folded.
folded up. I know I don't know how else to, yeah, it just
No,
folds right
you
up.
did a great job. It looks nice. I like
Thanks.
it.
And it has their address and their website on it too, so which is really helpful. And it does have a tiny little map that's not very helpful. But part of the fun is like the scavenger hunt of it, which I recognize you don't necessarily need in U Street, or maybe you do. I think it could be kind of fun. I love the idea, Mullen.
Yeah, so sorry, go back to that point. Is there a scavenger hunt aspect to that Rhode Island one? Oh, okay, okay.
No. No, not well, not really. I mean, you go to each one, you get a stamp from each one. So I guess it is
Right.
kind of a scavenger hunt. And then, yeah, in that sense, but there's
Well,
no like questions or anything that you have to answer. You
right.
just drink beer.
Well, so, great. Something we talked about before, and I don't remember if it was in this meeting or when Zavi and Aaron and I were at Spark, was writing something in the passport booklet about each restaurant. Like why is it interesting? What does it bring that's unique? But there could also be a scavenger hunt aspect, right? Of like find the item on the menu that XYZ, whatever. And I'm thinking like if they're Ethiopian places, like can you find a specific dish that's, or like there's that new, I think it's Polish or Ukrainian place that opened on Ninth Street. Like what is an interesting way of like getting people in to learn something about Ukrainian cuisine? Say like go and like ask them for or find a dish on the menu that's made with ingredient X, just so right that people have to go and like do a little activity. They don't actually have to order that thing, but it's just to also kind of prove that they
Are
did
you
actually go to
referring
the restaurant.
to Are you referring to Sos, the Eritrean restaurant that's on
N-
Ninth?
No, the Ukrainian one is called something with a V,
Oh, I
but Soest
missed
is
that.
also new, right? They opened in
Yes,
the past
Sos is
year, I think.
very new. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it'd be nice to
I
feature them
like
too.
that because I think that if we and it's not limited to any particular bar, is really it really helps build the business aspect of everything. And I like that it is inclusive of all of the businesses in the 1B area. and and I think that the prize would be awesome because that's where your investment could be in, hey, let's see how many people actually went to all these places and taking a photo with the owners or within the place and Instagramming, it's a whole marketing campaign that can go along with it, whatever you're doing because I think it's really great, and I like the idea of what Aaron had. I like that a little bit better than an actual stamp because the it'll get some buy-in from the businesses where they can actually, if they have a card or they can give you their own marketing things, they can send
Mm-hmm.
their card or whatever their artwork is to the ANC person that's going to draft it up. And I think that it would be really, really incredible. It's great community engagement.
Okay, so I think we're all generally liking the passport restaurant crawl idea. Anyone have any objections? I think it'd be fun to move forward with. The budget seems pretty small. Does anybody want to take a more
Well,
active role in helping to design some of the materials and do some of the outreach to the restaurants and help us identify how many we can do, what are the criteria to participate, that kind of stuff?
I would like to with you said Leah wants to but she has her idea. I think that I'm sure we can collaborate on something that we can bring them all together. I'm very, very happy to help. Aaron, look at Aaron too. I think this is a great thing. And Aaron,
Wonderful.
I'm really happy. And Aaron, I saw that some of them had a QR code on the back of it on your passport as well.
Yeah, it
What was
does.
the
Yeah, I've actually never scanned the QR code. So, but it does, I should note that they do actually have their own individual stamp. So we could use your, the person you suggested, Miguel. And that's part of the fun is that each one has their own stamp. So it is kind of fun to collect the stamps. The QR code, oh, it just goes to a map of the Rhode Island Brewers Guild. So it's
Oh,
actually super dated, but you could still use a map of all the restaurants. So that would be
exactly.
easy enough. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and see, and that's the cool part. So you have not only and based on that, the way that one looks, we could probably how many Miguel, this is your under your purview. How many restaurants do we have in 1B?
We are actually talking about trying to figure that out using some ABCA records and trying to build a list. So I don't have a number right now. We got pretty close when we did some of the in-person outreach for the U Street Business Roundtable that happened 2 months ago or so. So we have most of a list, but we're
But
not
that's
convinced
just
that it's comprehensive
bars.
yet. That's
That's just
bars,
bars.
but a lot obviously a lot of restaurants are on there because they have liquor licenses. There are definitely going to be some that I guess don't have a liquor license. So we'll have to. We're still working on compiling it, but it's going to be certainly dozens and dozens of places.
Okay. Well, cause see, I'm looking at how based on the size of your passport, based on how many businesses we have in the area, and then also what incentive are we going to offer them to participate? We want them to be able to get business. That's number one. But number two, what can we do to incentivize the businesses to be a part of this this project?
Thoughts from the group?
Well, I guess you want me to tell you what? We can give them a nice business of the year or give them some type of award.
I
Say,
mean, this
hey,
seems
you
to
know
be a
what?
win-win for the businesses,
Right.
right?
It's
Like,
it's a it's a it's a win-win thing, but the thing is it's like we should start a bragging rights thing to how like some businesses they would pass around certain things based on their community engagement. You create a token that they could post up in their business to say, you know what, guess who has this particular item like their Heisman Trophy of the business that they post in their business, because of their participation in this project and people, everybody, they got the most passport visits. Now, it's not to say and then also the community has to be encouraged to do it. And so and then we have to say, okay, it has to be something that all ages can come in and participate. All the
Mhm.
community members can come in and participate. And so I would actually we could probably say make it a contest between all the ANCs, which ANC has which commissioner has the most people in their commission that went to these various restaurants.
Oh my God.
Let's
Gene has told me that not everything needs to be a competition, so now I'm afraid of now I'm afraid of
no,
that.
no, see, no, 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 no. That's we gotta boost it up because that encourages everyone to spark everyone up. Hey, we need you all to come in
Yeah.
and go to those businesses.
Gene, let
I
me ask you a final question on this point, and I want to wrap up soon since we're already at an hour, more over an hour. Um, and I know you don't operate a restaurant, but I'm sure you're going to know the answer. do restaurants tend to have a busy season in the summer when it's warmer, and so maybe we would time this passport program for fall and winter when they might need a boost, or is that not the case actually in the industry? Oh, Gene's muted.
Can you hear me?
There. Yep.
Summer is a dead time for the restaurants. So
Summer's dead. Yeah. Okay.
it might actually, especially August. I don't know, the dog days of August sale on 14th and U
Yeah. Uh-huh.
that kind of needs a home, but
Hmm.
it's still, the fact that it still happens is great. That was started by the U Street Neighborhood Association, 14th and U. I can't remember,
Mm-hmm.
Business Association
Mm-hmm.
started. Anyway, so yeah, summer is pretty much a dead time for people. DC gets more active. We're active with tourists right now, but it gets more active locally when the students come back and Congress comes back, and because everybody's running around in the summer and taking vacations. And
Yeah. Shoot. Well, I guess we can't turn it around quite quickly enough for that, but um, let's see what we can do. Also, help anytime is better than
sure,
none.
absolutely.
Okay.
Who you might want to talk to would be maybe Eric Heidenberger. I can put you in touch with him because he
Okay.
restaurants and has a pretty good idea about that stuff.
Okay. Please do.
All
Please
right.
take that down. Now you have two things to do, so
Oh man, unmute me, mute me, mute.
mute me.
Stop it.
Sure. All right. Let's move forward with this. Thank you so much, everyone, for your input. Karen and Aaron, I'll try to connect you with Leah right away, and we'll see how much we can get done. I'll let the commissioners know that this is coming as well, so that we can get ready to talk about a budget. There's a ton of other things on the agenda. We'll save them, except for one little thing. The last item on the agenda was this review of our community sponsorship process, and I'm kind of wondering, Tam, are you still there? If you can unmute, kind of want to ask you a favor.
Hi, you wanted me? This is Tam.
Yeah, hey.
Yes, hey, I'm sorry, I'm still here.
You're good. So on our website, which I can send you after, if you choose to accept this mission,
Okay.
there's a page called Community Sponsorship, and I'm
Oh,
asking you this because you obviously work in first of all, you're an external perspective from the ANC,
yes.
but since you are also in community engagement, and anyone else is welcome to do this too, I'm sort of wondering if you can take a look at the page on our website called Community Sponsorship. This is meant to
Okay.
be where we refer community groups who want to come to the ANC and apply for a grant for an event they're doing. This is often like a block party, or I mean, even the Shakespeare in the Park things, more or
Okay.
less, right? Groups can come and ask for money for an event or some kind of program they're holding.
Okay.
And we don't really give away enough of these grants. So I want to make sure that the application process is self-explanatory and streamlined. So I
Okay.
kind of wonder if you can take your external eyes and just, say, all right, I'm a community organization coming to the ANC, want to apply for a grant. Does this make sense? And I'm
Absolutely.
kind of assuming the answer is no, because we don't have a lot of information up there. So if you could if this is cool, maybe take a look at it and just write to me like, all right, from my external perspective, I'm looking at this and I don't understand. What are the rules? Where do I go? What happens? Whatever.
Okay, I can definitely do that. And while I have your ears, I do have a question for you.
Sure.
And this could be for the collective group as well. So I've been talking with our leadership team because in my role, I'm a part of the executive team, and we're looking at how to really support the community a little bit more. And one of the things that I've been trying to seek out is information about per se back to school events or community based events. What I've noticed is that things are very, um, they're placed in very inconspicuous places. And so to date, I don't see, in a sense, a systemic approach to making sure that there's a collective across all systems to share when there are community events. And it looks like all either entities, programs, providers, businesses, everybody's doing their own thing. There's no collaboration or joint effort. Now, if I'm not looking at the right place, please direct me to it. Because we've been considering from our organization trying to do a back to school event and wanted to partner with somebody, but I don't see that happening, even just in within our ward.
Thoughts from the group?
Well, I could tell her that she's correct in regards to that, because there's so many silos operating, Tam, that and so basically now if it's education driven and you're dealing with children, I always go directly to either DC Public Schools, Department of Recreation, um, to see what they're doing, MPD, to see what they're doing, especially if it hits the families and children as a whole, um, and churches, and everyone tends to do their own thing. And so when it's back to school, you'll see like 500 events associated with back to school. But I've never seen, and then if there's a safety related event, then MPD will do something with department with the public safety and justice department, but the DPR tends to hit all of the educational events, but I haven't seen any one particular conglomerate that is holding all of that in one space. So, when you see a need and you always say, "Hey, maybe you might be the person to start that."
I got it. I understand. And just to give a little context, so although I am a district resident, I have for the past several years been working in Fairfax County, Virginia. And I did community engagement there as well. And they became very intentional in doing community engagement work. And it actually was facilitated by Fairfax County government. And they looked at this approach that was considered to be a collective impact um, framework. And with that, they really wanted to make sure that every policy, service, system that was created, there were always entities from all walks of life, whether it be police, faith based, community, grassroots, and everyone had a seat at the table. And the design model was to ensure that everyone always communed across all systems and that one, everybody wasn't doing duplicate work, but that we also had the ability to reach more families and individuals in the community because we were able to really look at what certain folks were good at, highlight those areas, make sure that that information was funneled to the community, and where that organization and or service didn't necessarily support that population, there was another community or entity or service that was able to pick that slack up. And so it's very interesting to me now that I'm back on this side of the bridge to see that while the systems are there, it's just so fragmented. But I'm definitely with you and I don't mind taking on a challenge. And so I just wanted to kind of see how do I start now because I'm very a little bit new to the collaborative, but not new to the work. And so I just want to see how, as we continue to grow and maintain and create new partnerships, that we can do it from a systemic approach and that also we're really able to service more people.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. And fragmented is the word of the day. That's what I've been using in regards to the drug programs that they have and how we're addressing the drug crisis that we have in the area as in any public safety issues. It needs to be brought together in order to be effective. And that way you can see, as you mentioned, where are we going, as opposed to the sporadic directions that we're going in. I think that that model that you said that came in from Fairfax, and they do have a great model. I
Yes.
and I think that, if it you know, when it comes to making sure that it's taken care of properly, you really do need to come in with that particular type of understanding of what has been working, and you have the data that follows it, like the Fairfax data. And then also, if you look at Baltimore, they're doing some changes that is really showing that they're trying to work together, bring everything together, as well as Memphis. So I think if you look at those models, you'll see what can really work for a city. And I think if you bring that to the table, I think that, I mean, especially with your organization, I'm not sure how long you've been in existence to do this type of work, but you already have the right direction. I think it would be ideal, especially for this area and the city.
Awesome. Well, that's good to hear. Well, I'll start with my first action item to look at what's required and what's going to be needed for other sponsors or vendors or organizations to seek out funding first. So I'll do that, but I'll definitely start to have conversations with my executive director, and I will make sure that I make this a meeting a priority, and hopefully we can continue to collaborate and work together and start to make a little shift.
Oh, certainly. That'll be excellent. It'll help, definitely help the city heal in areas that we need to take care of. That's for sure.
Well, thank you for raising the question, Tam. Thank you for answering so ably, Karen. I think we've gone over a bit today. I appreciate everyone's time and patience. Um, we all have our homework. I think all the specific takeaways and little assignments will be noted in the minutes. I highlighted the names where people said they would do something, just so we have a convenient little list of homework assignments. I don't want to make it sound so dreary. Oh my God. Ways to contribute. I'll send those out right now. And of course, if we have any questions, email me and we'll keep in touch between now and the next meeting in August.
And Miguel, I just want to highlight for Tam that I did place that the application
Hmm.
in the chat for you, Tam, so you can grab that if you need to see the application that Miguel was referring to.
Perfect. Thank you so
Actually,
much.
yeah, and Tam, I don't think I have your email address, probably because I was
I'll put it in the
emailing
chat for you.
Donetta. Okay,
Okay, I'll
please
put it in
do
the chat
before.
for you.
Great, thank you. All right, thanks everybody. Have a good night. Talk to you soon.
And don't forget to add those things on the list that we talked about earlier in the meeting, please.
Yep, the neighborhood. What do you want to call it? The neighborhood
Well, I
walk. We
mean,
don't want to say crawl. Also, since we're
I don't
talking
want
about
to
the.
crawl. I don't want to crawl it. Well, we actually refer to it as neighbor to neighbor. That's what we refer to when we started. In the one that I was talking to you about my girlfriend, but I
Hmm.
don't want to try to take her. It's her idea, but what I don't want to do is take on her name, the name. But I really want to keep the concept together. You know, just basically neighbors connecting with neighbors, the neighbor connection, something I'll come up with something that'll be really creative, and I'll package it as a proposed idea that would benefit the ANC. Okay? I think
That's wonderful, and it's a little not quite as heavy a lift as like a block party, which I think is a big undertaking, requires a permit, all, that kind of stuff. If it's something a little more casual, is the vibe I'm getting, but that still involves um, kind of like
it,
an
it
old school block party, right? People just come out with like potluck as opposed to like bringing
right,
in
exactly.
vendors and all that kind of stuff.
It's like we have dinner parties. Everyone has dinner parties at their what it really is, everybody's having it's a dinner party at everybody's house. And sometimes like and then you're inviting your whole all your neighbors. So if you have like 20 houses, 40 houses on your block, to prepare enough for 40 people. I mean, at least for, 40 plus, depending on how many people come. And everybody when I tell you fun, it's really, really fun. And you can do it year round, so you don't really have to do it only in the summertime. So it just
Yeah,
encourage
and I think there are a couple of places that would offer to host if we want to do it indoors. There are places that could host. The YMCA has been very friendly to us, of course, about event space and
Yeah,
places
but
like that.
see, the thing is just with we have a lot of multifamily buildings, and even
And they'll have,
if they have their like little spaces inside of their buildings, it's always helpful. Or their lobby area, some of them have the little foyer areas. When I tell you it's really great to participate in, and it's just really encouraging. Like Tam said, if you bring people together with some intentionality, you can really build really incredible neighborhoods. So I'm looking forward to doing something like that.
okay, I've put it on first on the list to take up next month.
And and don't forget to nurture the drummer circle. We need to really do that with the schools. If you and it's a great art project to encourage the children and the various schools to get involved. I know it's not, they're out and it's they don't come back in session till August, but it's definitely a good community activity to encourage them to be involved in the history of Malcolm X Park. Okay.
I agree, and I think I mentioned last time that we used to the admin person we used to have on 1B, Cedric, who I miss, and it was wonderful. Goes pretty often to play, I believe, and takes his
Cedric
kids, and it's like,
Muhammad? Are you talking about Cedric Muhammad?
yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I texted him and asked him, because he's offered, oh, we should, bring some of the drum circle guys and get them involved, especially for like park cleanups and that kind of stuff. But I haven't heard back from him, so I'll poke him again. But I think you offered also to make a connection to some of
Yeah,
the
well,
folks who
actually,
go.
my friends, they're the Fridays. The one of the brothers, his name was Ron Friday. He would play. And I know quite a few brothers that played the drummer circle, and I just thought that it would be really encouraging to it'll help with a lot of the community connections. So I'm encouraged to work with the banners for the Black Broadway and all the different historical areas within ANC1B, and then also helping with the passport, and then hopefully helping with the drummer circle and helping Tamara if she needs my assistance too. Talk to you
Okay.
later. Have a great
Have a good
night.
night.
Okay,
Thank
bye bye.
you. Bye.